Hey, guess what? That was a huge, huge win by Manchester United, guys. Huge win by Ollie. Huge performance from David De Gea, the one and the only David De Gea. Get in there, Manchester United. Guys, today I'm joined by one of the best friends in the world that I got, the one and only Matthew McFadden. Matthew, how you feeling, bro?
You know what? David De Gea can. I don't care what he does in the future now. Just give the boy a lifetime contract. And you know what's funny? On Sky Sports right now, they're showing a programme of Harry Kane's 100 Premier League goals. They were fully expecting a Tottenham win so they could play this at the perfect time.
Yep.
And now it's like absolute idiots.
Dude, in all honesty, I mean, you look at what just happened out on that pitch. Yeah, guess what? It maybe wasn't the most pretty of wins. It maybe wasn't like some extravagant performance. But you know what we saw, especially in the first half, was deadly counter-attacking football from Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Something that we never saw under Mourinho. I'm talking like we maybe saw one good counter-attacking goal during Jose Mourinho's entire tenure at Manchester United. But, I mean, Matthew, in all seriousness, I do David De Gea. I'm not gay. I do him. I mean, are you on the boat with me on that one?
I'd let him do me.
Yeah, you know what? In all fairness, even if I did try to do him, he would block it and reverse it and wind up doing me. It's just the truth.
That man should release a range of condoms.
You're guaranteed to get
100% success rate there.
Yes, yeah. Just the greatest. And what it's actually got David's face on the head of the condom. Yes, I completely agree. Not Barry. She understands. She understands. Trust me. Honestly, Spurs fan, I think everybody can agree. I think everybody could agree that if it wasn't for De Gea, you guys probably would have kicked our butts. Well, unless it was Lee Grant, which Lee Grant actually probably wouldn't have even allowed a shot to even come near the goal because he would have just used mind power to push the ball out. It's the truth. He's like Neo from the Matrix. I mean, Matthew, confirm?
You know what? I'm contractually obliged not to confirm or deny.
Gotcha. My bad.
You're blown away before you leave.
But Dave will keep you away from SG. Jay Hart, it's true. It's so true. But in all honesty, guys, this was a fantastic match from Manchester United. And I get that, like, you talk about especially the last 20 to 30 minutes. That was a nervy 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, Matthew, walk me through what you were feeling for that last 20 to 30 minutes, because I think that we could all pretty much agree we were nervous as hell.
It was Arsenal away again, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, people talk actually right. Here's a stat and a half for you. I hope you're ready. Put your seatbelts on. In that game alone, David De Gea broke the record this season for the most amount of saves in a game, and he did that in the second half alone. Which, when you think about it, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, how does someone... I think on average he made a save every 4 minutes in that second half. Now, yeah, it shows that we sat back and we sort of invited pressure a lot. But I'm just watching back one of them, the Harry Kane shot, the left-footed shot that went to the air. And I thought, as soon as he got in the box there, that was it, 1-1. But I don't even know how to explain it.
Just the man is brilliant with his feet. The man, like, I don't get how he does what he does. He remains big at all times. And Paul, 100%, we are back, brother. We are back. Like, Manchester United, it's a team to be feared again. You cannot deny it. Nobody can deny it. Manchester United is a team to be feared again. Because I'm telling you now, that was a hell of a performance from both Tottenham and Manchester United. Because Tottenham, let's not try and downplay their performance. They put in a good performance, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough to beat Manchester United, or at least just beat David De Gea. At least just beat David De Gea. I mean, like Matthew just brought up, absolutely crazy stat about how many saves Dave made in that second half. I mean, just to give you guys a few stats here from the Premier League app. So Tottenham owned the possession at 61% to 39%. They had 11 total shots on target to R8. They had 21 total shots to R13. 767 touches to R552, 569 passes to R364. They made 19 tackles to R15. We had 24 clearances to their 15, and then they had 7 corners to R4. And then we were only offsides once today. Like, De Gea was honestly on the level of being a superhero. Like, you cannot deny how great David De Gea is. Just honestly, and Matthew and I talked about this a little earlier. If Alexis Sanchez is on $350K a week, double it and give it to De Gea. Just whatever Alexis Sanchez is on, double it. Because that man is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Without a question, man of the match today, as Football Crew Show just said. But Matthew, let's go ahead and let's jump into this a little bit. So watching that match, especially watching that first half, I mean, you really saw a lot of counterattacking, just beautiful football from Manchester United and from Tottenham. It was really a back and forth game in that first half. I mean, with the first half in mind, just to talk about that separately from the second half, because obviously that second half was a lot more sitting back. That first half performance was outstanding for both clubs.
It was the exact opposite of what my prediction was. I predicted a high-scoring game, a slow first half, and we go for it in the second. I didn't think it would be any further from the truth. In the first half, it was like a good performance from both teams. You could tell that both of them actually wanted to go ahead and score early on. But luckily, our finishing was just a little bit better in the night. Thought Rashford's goal especially was brilliant, and that assist from Pogba was just unbelievable. I didn't actually see it at the time because I must have been looking away or something. But just seeing that back in the replays like a few minutes ago, that was just unreal. And I tell you what, there's some rival fans saying, "Oh, you only won because you're a keeper," and they say it in the same way that you'd complain about a ref winning a match for you. It's like a keeper is part of our team.
That's true.
If he wins as a game, then it's the equivalent of a striker winning a game.
And let's be like, honestly, that you could make the argument, yeah, guess what? Dave might have saved us. But if it wasn't for an absolutely phenomenal pass from Paul Pogba to free up Marcus Rashford, I mean, we don't score. It's the truth. Like, yeah, Dave saved our butts multiple times today. But I will say this, for the most part, a lot of those saves that he made today, other than like I say probably 5 of them, were pretty, I would say, ordinary saves that most keepers should be able to make. I mean, do you agree with that, Matthew?
Oh yeah, like there was some routine saves there, but I think about 6 of them, maybe even 7.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, we're thinking, oh shit, it's going to be 1-1 here. And then you realise, oh yeah, we've got David De Gea. And every single time, like, our jaws would just drop further to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
So I think in the last 10 minutes, we were thinking, right, surely he can't do this for the whole 90 minutes, because even at Arsenal, he conceded 1 goal. And I was just thinking, right, just please hang on here today. And every single time, he completely delivered. Like, there was a free kick from Harry Kane as well, which, almost full stretch, dived and managed to actually catch it. And then that save that I talked about earlier from Harry Kane, as soon as he got in the box, hit it with his left foot, and he's something else. He's something else. And like I said on Twitter, he's the 3rd best player in the world. No question about it.
Yeah.
In terms of influence. Like Messi and Ronaldo, right, they're different class. David De Gea is just like the best of the rest in terms of how many points he wins for his team.
Yeah.
Especially in big games.
Yeah. David De Gea does genuinely win your team probably at least 10 points a season, if not 20. He is that good. And don't get me wrong, everybody in the team played a part in today's win. Like, everybody played their part today. Because for the most part, we were relatively defensively sound. The defenders did what they had to do. But, I mean, we did talk about it pre-show in the preview. Spurs have quality people. They do. And they did their job as well. And I really do feel like if Spurs had scored, I think the game really would have opened up. I think if they had scored, because I would say basically from the 55th minute on, they were pretty much in possession of the entire game. And if they had scored around that time, I think, like Matthew would have predicted, that game would have opened up massively, and we probably would have seen a goal fest. We probably would have seen at least 2 goals from each side. At least 2 goals from each side. But Paul said Spurs are nothing. A nothing club, no ambition, no money. Never win anything. Never ever going to sign any big name players. When Kane goes, Spurs are finished. Which, for the most part, I actually would agree with that, because if Harry Kane does choose to leave, they do lose, between 30 and 40 goals a season. That's not completely incorrect.
A little bit better.
Oh, sorry, Matthew, what was that?
They're like Everton, but a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, they're in, Everton are always, at the start of every season, are thinking, right, this could be the season where they actually make a top 6 push, and they just don't really get there. And the same was said for Tottenham, like, a few weeks back, when City dropped points, we were thinking, well, Tottenham could maybe challenge for the title here. And if both big opportunities, like United and Wolverhampton, they failed.
Yep.
It just shows that they're completely spineless as a club.
And listen, I know that we have Spurs fan in here with us. We're not trying to be like overly mean or anything like that. It's what we witness from your guys' team, that ultimately you do manage to bottle it at the last, like every single time, right at your first opportunity, to really take advantage of a team's downfall. It's happened like as long as I can think of.
To be fair, I don't think Spurs played all that badly today.
No, they didn't.
Just a case of we had a better keeper.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on Hugo Lloris, the most overrated keeper to ever grace SF.
I mean, Hugo did make a couple of good saves today. I will say that.
He was okay this game, but in general, like, you blow a ball next to him right at his near post and he won't save it. His distribution is shocking. He can't save it at his near post, and he shouldn't be discussed as like one of the best keepers in the league. But still, today he wasn't all that bad. But
no,
it was Rashford's decent finishing that won us it as well as they.
No, exactly, Matthew, exactly. So, I mean, let's real quick. I wanted to give me some of your guys' thoughts in the comments. Be sure to give me some of your comments for today. Like, today's match, you could really pick out a few people's performances today. I think Victor Lindelof had a stellar performance today overall. I think that him individually as a defender, he was marking Harry Kane very, very well for a majority of the match. Obviously, Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, so he's going to get free. But for the most part, Lindelof bottled him up pretty well. I mean, Matthew, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I thought both defenders, actually, both centre-backs. Last night I put out a tweet that absolutely banged the goal with 3,000 likes. Just say.
I mean, listen, it's no Paul Pogba tweet, though, okay?
Well, I'll have you know, did Phil Jones mess up today?
No, he didn't.
That's your answer right there. He saw my tweet and thought, right, this guy means business here. I'm going to put in a decent performance.
He knew that forehead was coming for him, Matthew.
That forehead is either my forehead or Harry Maguire's forehead. Pick and choose one.
Yes. Very true. I can confirm.
Good. But yeah, the defence as a whole, I thought played well. Yeah, in the second half quite a lot. Spurs managed to chip a few balls over the defence, and luckily they was there to save us. But Lindelof again he just seems like a different player compared to last season. Last season he just looked completely void of confidence. He was trying to play like this big, strong, commanding centre half, when in reality he's not strong whatsoever. He's actually, for a centre back at least, quite weak. However, he seems to have adapted to that in like the last few months, and adapted to the Premier League style of play, and is just doing so well. When, to be fair, I think me and quite a few other people completely wrote him off earlier on this season, just thinking he's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I think for the most part that all of us at the beginning of the season, when we saw Lindelof out there, we kind of all got I mean, nervous. Like, let's be real about it, because he didn't look sure of himself. But as he's grown into the game, and especially under Ollie, he has really started to thrive under Ollie. He has really started to thrive under Ollie. So real quick, I'm going to read out a few things here. So George Kyle did say this was a Sir Alex Ferguson win today. I completely agree with that, because against the top teams, we'd find a way to grind out the wins. Barry J did say first half Ollie ball, second half Jose ball, which I would say for the most part that is true. J Hart, one thing stood out other than David De Gea. We need to replace Phil Jones, which that's always going to be true. Kane made Lindelof and Jones his bitches. I mean, George, for the most part, I really do think Lindelof bottled up Harry Kane. Like, obviously, Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the world, is going to free himself up. It's going to happen. But for the most part, he was quiet today. Like, he had 2 or 3 shots today, and one of them was on target, I think. Only one. I mean, the free kick was on target too that he put in, but that was an easy save from Dave. That was just I would expect any keeper to make that save. Sound is praising real quick. Sound is praising Pogba through gritted teeth. Bitter scouts. Yes, always will be. Reaper 2004. To quote DT, after our 3-1 win at the Emirates last season, David De Gea could save the Titanic, mate. Yeah, no, he can. Dave can literally save anything. Dave literally can save anything. You have to admit that we gave you the scares in the last 20 minutes. No, Spurs fan, I completely agree with you. We were all petrified. I know for a fact we all were petrified in the last 20 minutes. Sad to say, but Shaw hasn't been playing well in defense lately. The amount of crosses Trippier put in, it was kind of crazy, J Hart. I agree. Delo in right wing, not bad. No, he wasn't bad at the right wing, Wolverine, but we were just basically setting up shop. And we were deciding, okay, we will not let in a goal here. And we didn't let in a goal. We didn't. Let's see here. Anybody else? We're scoring 5 to 7 goals against Brighton. Remember this. Yeah, no. I think you're going to see us come out against Brighton, and you're going to see us – because the one thing I did notice, and Matthew, I did definitely want to talk about this with you. We did see from both sides, especially in the first half, it looked like the line for pressing was in the opposition's, like right at the line of the opposition's circle, of the midfield circle. I mean, did you notice that as well?
Yeah, in the first half especially, we were just pressing a bit more. And I think, well, it's the same with both teams, really. Whenever they get on the ball, we press them. Whenever we get on the ball, they press us. Yeah, in the second half, there was just a complete change.
Yes.
But to be fair, don't mind a more defensive approach in a big game if you're a goal up. Because, of course, the big team's going to come at you. And unless you're really sort of, fixated in that back four and the keeper, you're going to concede goals. And I think it was just... But the back four were decent. But like I said in the comments, they weren't amazing. And that's why De Gea had so many shots to save.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, he saved them. And he seems like a better player when he's being peppered with shots. Like, he's a keeper who's really good when he's got the momentum going with him. But yeah, in terms of the pressing, especially in the first half with Lingard as well, but Lingard was pretty good, even considering he didn't really set up a goal, score one himself. But in the first half, the movement off and on the ball for him was just fantastic.
You're absolutely right, Matthew. You are absolutely right. And Paul, in fairness, I only had coffee today. I only had coffee. It was only 9:30. It's a little too early for a drink at 9:30 in the morning. But that is some solid banter. I'll give you that. I mean, listen, I think we can all agree Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. I mean, I don't think very many people would disagree with that. But he was, for the most part, bottled up today. I mean, if a guy scores 30 to 40 goals a year, I mean, I think he is one of the best strikers in the world. Peg has, yes, United are back. 100% United are back. But Matthew, we're 20 minutes in. I think it's time to start getting into our player ratings, and let's do this together. And obviously, we're going to the man of the match first, the one, the only, David De Gea. I think if you give him anything less than a 10, I'll be mad at you.
14.
Yeah, I was going to go with a 20 out of 10. Like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. Give him a point for every save he made. So he had 14 total saves today?
11.
No, 11 total saves today. So 11 out of 10.
And he literally did a perfect job. So 10 or 11.
Yeah, listen, I'll give him 11 out of 10 today. Like, he was on another level, and he even said it in his post match on our local NBC Sports breakdown that he's like after the first few saves, he said he was really feeling it. He was like, I didn't think that anybody was going to beat me today. So
well, yeah, that's the good thing about Dale. Like, we can have a bad defense, but if they pepper David De Gea with shots, he loves that momentum. He's like, fine, hit me with more shots, I'm going to save them all.
Yeah.
And while we may not be quite as confident because they're peppering us with chances, De Gea's probably thinking, you're not going to get it past me.
No.
And here's a question for the comment. What game was better? Last season against Arsenal or today against Spurs?
That's a hell of a question. That is a hell of a question. So, guys, if you couldn't hear Matthew completely, he asked what game was better for David De Gea, the Spurs game this year or the Arsenal game last year or last season. For me, I would still say it's probably the Arsenal one last season, just because that was otherworldly. But this one definitely was right there. And guys, if you do want to have your ratings read out, be sure to get in the live comments. I will read out your guys' ratings. George did say De Gea 10, but then he's like, you know what? Never mind. De Gea 11 because he gets a point for every save. Barry J did say De Gea 100 out of 10. Yes. Wesker for life 99 out of 10. Yes. Vandy Candy, give him an 11. Yes. Pancage 11. J Hart did say De Gea is unrateable. He deserves a statue. Yes. Honestly, De Gea's statue would just be a brick wall. So, I mean, I don't really know why we haven't done that yet. Oh, wait, it's outside of Old Trafford. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. You know, it's the brick wall that you see when you're going into the parking lot. He has a full statue. It's crazy. Wolverine said 11 AAA. Pangas, any rating today is less than for De Gea. He was universal class. No, he really was. Pancas really was. George Kyle did say he said Arsenal's performance last season for De Gea was better for him. That double save and the save from Lukaku. Yeah, he did save an own goal as well. Give that money to Trump.
De Gea made better saves if you like. But in this game, obviously, he kept the clean sheet. So it's a case of what you prefer more.
Yeah, I mean that is true. He did keep a clean sheet today. So you could make the argument. So I mean, Matthew, while we're here, which performance is better for you?
There's a reason why I asked that question because I couldn't come up with it myself. but in terms of like actual excitement from a goalkeeping performance, I've never had that feeling from any keeper.
No,
or anyone that comes close to that game last season. Because especially like George said, that save from Lukaku that was going to be an own goal. He wasn't even making saves. He was making saves and scooping the ball out. And then that double save as well was unbelievable. But there was one particular save in this game where it was a corner, and I think it was Big Toby from Tottenham hit it. I don't even know how he hit it, but it looked like it was rifled at De Gea, and it just clattered off him, and it was hit up pretty much half the length of the pitch.
Yeah,
that save in particular, just like, oh shit.
I mean, Wesker for life did say he's like, is there any other keeper you know who saves as much with his feet? And honestly, no. And then I had a couple people say, just give David De Gea to Donald Trump to block the wall or to make the wall on the southern border. Yeah, I mean, he would literally cover the entire thing. He'd be stop it. He'd be all over the place. It'd be craziness, absolute craziness. And then Spurs fan did give him a 10 out of 10 for to De Gea today. So Matthew, let's go ahead and move on. Ashley Young really did okay today. I mean, he showed why he gets picked by Ollie on the right back position. I mean, how did you feel about his performance today?
Yeah, I just thought it was an okay game, really. Wasn't amazing, wasn't bad. In terms of a rating, just a standard 6, I guess.
Yeah.
I really give the back four ratings like 8 out of 10, even though they were okay, because they had to make so many saves. But don't really think it was a terrible performance by any means.
No, he definitely I think more than anything he provided leadership today. And because you did see him kind of getting in the faces of opposition players. Like he was definitely talking with the referee, and then also the one thing I did notice is he was kind of spurring on the players, like keep up their defensive performance. So I personally would probably give Ashley Young a 6 as well, maybe even a 7, but I think I'll go with the 6. I think it's a fair rating because Sun did have him on skates a few times. So I think that would be a pretty fair overall rating. Spurs fan, no worries, man. I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Let's see here. George Kyle said Young a 4, my average Young rating. It is pretty much your average Young rating. It's true. Jay Hart said Young is 6 on the right. He's been better than Valencia, but that's all he's good for. That's fair. I do definitely want to get Delo on that right back position as soon as possible. Imagine if we add Koulibaly to the defense. No team can break down our defense with Koulibaly and De Gea in goal. Pancakes, you're probably right. You are probably right. Barry J said Young 5 shouldn't be the captain of Man United. I ultimately agree with that. Let's see here. Wolverine said Young's done his job, 7. People are saying bye to Spurs fan. Hope you like I said, Spurs fan. Hope you have a good one. Vandy Candy, Young 6. Pancaz Young 7. And then I think that's it. And then George. I completely spaced. Be sure to sub to George Kyle. I know that he's started to make content. So love you, George. We'll have to get you on the show soon, apparently. Reaper 2004 said, sorry to butt in, but I just want to let you know that the women's game was called off due to a serious injury suffered by one of Carleton Athletics defenders today. Interesting. That is interesting. Then, and Maltese Devil, I agree. I actually do think that Herrera would probably be a good captain, especially at the moment we are in right now. He is all over the pitch. He didn't necessarily have the greatest of games today, but he is all over the pitch. So, Matthew, let's move on to Victor Lindelof next. Once again, I think Victor Lindelof had a very good performance today. He did, for the most part, bottled up Harry Kane, and he did his defensive duties well, in my opinion. Matthew, what would you give him today?
There was times in the second half where Harry Kane found himself in the box, and it almost looked like he was unmarked. But yeah, for the most part, I think Lindelof was our best defender again. How many times have we said that under Ole?
Yeah.
But don't think it would be an 8 out of 10 performance, but 7 out of 10, I'd say.
See, and I actually would give him an 8 out of 10. There was a few times where he really was on Harry Kane's butt.
There's one particular tackle late on in the game, I think, that just looked like Roy Keane-esque in a way. I've forgotten exactly when it was and who it was on, but there was a few people talking about it on Twitter, and I thought, yeah, that was just some tackle there.
Yeah. No, there was a couple of times where I really did notice how well he was doing defensively. And like you said, we don't necessarily expect physicality from Victor Lindelof. We don't. But he definitely was physical today. And there was a very Vidic-esque tackle that he made. Went in hard. It was at midfield. I remember that tackle, Matthew. And it was a hell of a tackle. So Vandy Candy went with a 7.5. George went with a 5. Okay. Fair enough, George. Fair enough. Pancaz went with a 7. I reckon he can improve on his game a lot. He could be very good. George, that's fair. That is fair. Jay Hart said Lindelof gets a 7. He would have gotten an 8 for the first half, but Spurs had too many chances in the second half, which that is fair. They were peppering us with shots in that second half. So I can understand if people don't want to give him that rating. So we'll go ahead. Let's combine the ratings. Let's give him a 7.5. I think it'd be a very fair rating for today. So Matthew, Phil Jones ultimately didn't cost us anything. What are you going to give Phil Jones?
6 out of 10, really. There was 1 or 2 dodgy little challenges that led to free kicks. But for the most part, he was okay. I can't really say much else, to be honest. However, on corners, I'll say he just looked. I think most of us were quite nervous when we saw that he was marking Harry Kane in corners.
Yeah.
Because someone can score any type of goal, whether it's outside the box, inside the box, left foot, right foot, and especially headers. I think a few times when they were taking corners, we thought, oh no, he's going to score here, but he didn't. So 6 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm actually agree. I think 6 out of 10 is a very fair rating for today. Didn't cost us anything. Did okay. Made a couple of good tackles. There was a couple of nervy tackles that were in there. But overall, I think he had an average performance today, which I think was kind of what we were all worried about. I think we were all worried about him having an average performance. But funny enough, his average performance was okay for today. So Jay Hart said my highlight was Kane's offside goal. Both center backs saw him, but only Lindelof reacted. Jones, as usual, gave off his stupid face. Yes, we all love our Phil Jones face, though, Jay Hart. You know it as well as I do. Vandy Candy said Jones 7. He was good. Pancake said Phil Jones 6. George Kyle said Jones a 4. Pushed around by Kane like it was a rag doll. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Jay Hart, Jones gets a 5. Too many open spaces left because of him. And it looks like that's everybody's rating for Phil Jones. So, Matthew, the performance we're getting ready to talk about by Luke Shaw, I've noticed Luke Shaw actually has not been great under Ollie. Like, I don't know what the deal with him is, but he just has not been the Luke Shaw that we saw at the beginning of the season. I mean, Matthew, what are you going to give him?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you there. In the first game against Cardiff under Ole, he looked good.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't really. He's not had an impact. That's what I'd probably say. I don't think he's necessarily been that bad, but just hasn't really done much. One thing, however, that has improved is his defensive positioning.
Yes.
Like every single time he'd show, the winger who wants to cross in on his good side, and then a winger who wants to cut inside on his good side. But he seems to be maturing when it comes to that and making better decisions. But still, it was a bit of an average game, really. So can't give any more than 6.
I was going to give him a 6 as well. It was an average game. Defensively, he did have his responsibilities, and he lived up to those responsibilities. But end of the day, he's not offering what we all thought that he could offer going forward. It's not like he's doing a horrible job, but I mean, we're not seeing the Luke Shaw that we bought yet. And I get that horrific injury probably is still in his mind. But at the end of the day, we gave the guy a pretty good-sized contract to come back and be the left back, the starting left back for Manchester United. And he hasn't been living up to a starting left back at Manchester United performance as of late. I still believe in Luke Shaw. I still believe Luke Shaw can get back to being the player we all know that he can be. But at the end of the day, right now, he has not been good enough. So maybe some competition to put up against him might be for the best. I think that might not be the worst thing in the world, is to bring in a decent left back and somebody that can maybe push him for the starting left back spot, because I don't think that Ashley Young is a guy that's going to push him for the left back spot. I just don't. I think Ashley Young pretty much has cemented himself on that right back position for the time being. So I'm ultimately going to give Luke Shaw a 6. Let's see here. George said Shaw was very average. Again, totally agree, Andrew. Shaw was a 5 as well. Like I have Lindelof, and that's fair. That is fair. Jay Hart said Shaw has not been progressing. When he makes Young look a better fullback, he needs to realize how bad he is. A 6 for me. Pancake gave Shaw a 6. Vandy Candy said Shaw was pretty good, pretty decent. He just about did his job defensively. So he gave him a 6. And guys, just so you know, if you do get me to 15 likes before we go offline, I will hit the dab for that awesome pass from Paul Pogba.
Please don't like. Please don't mind.
I mean, we all know that you want to see the dab. We'll get the double dab too. We might even see a bit of like the FIFA dabs style. We don't know. We don't know.
I tell you what, if someone does that against me in FIFA, controller's getting chucked straight at his feet.
No, no, the Pogba dance is what I want. Maybe, George. We'll think about it. But Matthew, let's move on to Nemanja Matic. He had a decent match today. He did ultimately break up quite a few passes, and I think that he definitely deserves a little bit above average. But overall, I don't think that he was like anywhere near phenomenal today. Matthew, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say it wasn't as good as the previous games under Solskjaer. And there was a few times where he would either be way too deep or way too far forward. His positioning was a little bit awkward. But to be fair, overall, I'm even tempted to give him a 5 because he just didn't really do much. It was a quiet game from him. But I don't know, maybe a 6 out of 10.
You know, honestly, I'm going to give him a little bit more than that. I did notice him defensively today, really holding his own, made a few good clearances, and really did break up a few passes. I did notice him today. So I personally am going to give him a 7. I get that as a CDM, you know, you kind of need to offer a little bit more, especially in a match like this. So that's why I can't give him above a 7. But I mean, we're talking about a Spurs team that does have a lot of quality. So I think that he did his duties today. So let's see. So George, the only way we will get to the Pogba dance is if we get to 20 likes. I will do the Pogba dance that you're thinking of if we get to 20. So Pankaz gave Matic an 8.5. George said Matic probably a 7, very tenacious for me. Vandy Candy, Matic 6, faded in the second half, which I did notice that he was really fading in the second half, Vandy. J Hart, Matic a 7, wasn't bad, but wasn't good. Nick, you're all good, man. You're all good. We're finishing up ratings here. He didn't do any forward passes like he did in previous games. I did notice that as well, J Hart. I really did. Everyone like your die, says George. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's move on to Ander Herrera. Very solid performance from him all around today. Matthew, what are you going to give him? And Matthew muted himself. It's okay, buddy. I still love you.
We'll still talk about that. I did it yesterday off recording, and I thought, okay, good. I'm not going to make that mistake again, but you know, it happens.
Hey, listen, it does.
The best word to describe him was professional.
Yes.
I think he just did his job. He didn't do anything spectacular. He didn't do anything bad. But overall, it was just a solid game. So 7 out of 10, I'd say. I'd put him maybe 1 rating above Matic.
So
at least in my opinion.
I came close to giving him an 8 today because of like his defensive performance that he put in. But I can't quite give him an 8, so I'm going to give him a 7.5. I feel like 7.5 is kind of an appropriate like combo of like he had a good performance, but it ultimately wasn't like great. Like I think it was basically right on that border of being between a good and great performance. He was tenacious. He was all over the pitch today, and he did exactly what Ollie is asking of him, and that's to be that guy, that tenacious guy in the midfield. And I love seeing that from Ander Herrera, somebody that I would love to see as a Manchester United captain for the rest of the season, if I'm honest. Let's see here. Everyone like or George sends a sample of his fragrance. Let's not do that then, George. Let's not do that. Herrera an 8 thought he does excellently in these scrappy games. I really agree with that. It does seem like Herrera does turn up in these scrappy performances. Vandy gave him an 8. Danny Ogda gave him an 8. Watching from Uganda. Awesome, Danny. I'm really happy to have you here, man. Nick Archer, Herrera is an 8. I'm feeling generous with him today. That's fair. Pankaz gave Herrera an 8.5. J Hart gave Herrera an 8. Notice how quiet Eriksson was. He had no chance today. Eriksson was very, very quiet. Nick Archer, any Dave posters bought yet, Matthew? I'm sure that you've had a David De Gea poster bought at this point.
I had one like last week or so. Not one yet, however. Watch this space, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody doesn't buy a David De Gea poster after today, I might just have to be the guy to do it. Because he deserves it after that. Gary Johnson just found your stream. Nice to see the passion and knowledge from an American. Keep up the good work, bud. Really appreciate that, Gary. Thank you so much. I really hope you can join us live more. We do like to try and put out live content on a regular basis. Matthew, don't be embarrassed if you don't if you need to let out gas during the stream. Yikes. David De Gea's legs can save UK from Brexit. That's a pretty good one. No, and Bill, you're absolutely right. No player wins you more matches than David De Gea. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba had a pretty decent performance today, and the pass that he made to Marcus Rashford to set up that goal was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Matthew, what are you going to give him today?
You know what? I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. That pass alone puts his rating up.
Yeah.
As well as the fact that in the second half, like, there's one thing that Pogba's really good at, and it's like, you know when you're playing FIFA and you hold the left trigger button to shield the ball?
Yes.
It's that really annoying thing that people do, and it makes me want to punch a wall. He does that so well in real life and in opponent's studs, and he can win free kicks and hold up the ball and pass it to other people. And he did that really well today, especially in the times where we actually needed a bit of calmness. And we needed to put reset. So, to be honest, and that's true, Nick. That is very true. But Pogba, 8 out of 10 for me.
Sophie, I completely with you. Just absolutely buzzing with that result. I think that if you're a Manchester United fan and you are not buzzing after that result, I think that you're maybe a little bit crazy. But guys, make sure you subscribe to Hair Dry Treatment. I love her channel, and we are going to get her on the show very, very soon. I'm kind of thinking for the next match, and possibly we could maybe get her on for our weekly show this week, because we will definitely do a weekly show this week. And you, like you were saying, Matthew, Pogba, I'm giving him an 8 for that pass alone. Like that pass, and like you mentioned, I really think that Paul Pogba is one of the few players on the pitch that actually uses his size well. Like Big Luke doesn't use his size like Paul Pogba does. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not Lukaku's biggest fan, but like the one thing I feel like he should be able to do is use his size, and he doesn't use it as often as you would expect a guy that is his size to do. And the way that Paul Pogba just shields the ball is just, it's next level. It really is next level. But then that pass.
See his playing style. I don't know if other people would agree. It kind of reminds me of somewhat like an Iniesta, where he's playing in that kind of inside left channel, and he's constantly looking to support teammates and take shots for himself. But he also uses his height to an advantage when he needs to.
Yeah.
It's like that combination of being that kind of tricky sort of playmaker guy who can score goals too, but he's also got that in his locker. It's just a perfect combination.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Matthew. Like he knows how to use his body well, but at the same time, he does things that somebody that is a more tricky style player, somebody like Juan Mata or Anthony Martial, he does things that they can do. It really is awesome to see. So real quick, I'm going to read you guys' ratings out. So we got George Kyle gave Pogba a 9 for the pass of the season. Yeah, I mean that's completely fair, George. Vandy Katie said Pogba 7, could get more if he took one of those chances, one of those multiple chances. Yeah, I was really disappointed that he did not get a goal from that slight little touch. That was a quality save from Hugo Lloris. It really was.
Lloris saved, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was so annoying. There was a few chances in that game where he's taking loads of shots, but they'll just go straight to the keeper. And it was so annoying because there was like certain little plays where I'm thinking, right, he's going to score here, and he just hits it straight to the keeper. If he had got a goal, probably would have given him a 9 out of 10. But because he didn't really threaten the keeper too much, it's probably why I've kept it an 8.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But genuinely, that chip, I really wanted that chip to go in. Like it would have been absolutely perfect. So Pancakes gave Pogba a 9. Matthew McFadden mutes his mic when he dabs, so no one hears him. It's true. It's true. I've heard that's true. That
you can hear them.
Yeah, I have heard that's true. Nick Archer said Pogba 9. He had that chance he should have put away if it didn't get tipped. To be fair, Pogba's passing is unreal. Matthew McFadden says, "We know, Matthew, we know." Let's see here. Sorry, guys, lost my spot. Pogba is a 10 in the body of a CDM. Danny, that's a fantastic assessment of him. Mike LUHG is such a bitter bastard. Isn't he still up Mourinho's butt? Yes, he is, Phil. Yes, he is.
Do you think he's a troll?
Oh, 100% the dude's a troll.
Or like, I mean, in terms of those aren't his actual opinions.
No, they're not.
If he's a troll, then he's some troll. Like,
yes.
You've got to give it to him.
Like,
there's those sort of people, we've seen a few of them, and we've talked about a few.
We have.
That kind of those opinions, and you think, is he real, is he not? But I tell you what, if he's a troll, then he's a top-notch one. We'll give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I do give it to him. If he is a troll, he is a class troll. I will give him that. JT and SR said De Gea and Pogba are only world-class players. I don't fully disagree with that at the moment, but I do think that we have multiple players with world-class talent, GT. Maltese Devil said Herrera should be captain for me. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Pogba was almost put that header away too. Yes, he did, but it did ultimately wind up going basically straight to Lloris. Mike LUHG is Mourinho's Twitter account. I have heard that's true, George. I have heard that's true. And then it looks like that's everybody. So, Matthew, I mean, let's move on to our attackers. I'm not really going to give any of the subs a rating because ultimately all of them I just would give a 6 because they came on and they did what they were supposed to do defensively. But let's start with Lingard on the right, who really did press well. And there was a couple of times where he did link up the play well. But other than that, he was kind of missing today. I mean, what was your assessment of him today, Matthew?
Was that Lingard that you said there?
Yeah, Jesse Lingard.
Thought I had someone else there. No, Lingard in the first half was fantastic, especially him with Rashford combining, because they would make so many runs off the ball and behind the defence and Pogba would. You would find him sometimes, find him wouldn't, but you expect that. But purely for his movement and pressing, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. I think in the second half, obviously, the game wasn't quite suited to.
Yes.
He's not really suited to that kind of player who is more of a drifter than anything, as opposed to someone who's going to get stuck in or really have an impact up front. But first half, he was brilliant. So overall, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, and honestly, I give him a 7 out of 10 as well. I think that he did what he needed to do today. I think that's the best way to describe it, is that he pressed well, he did his defensive responsibilities, and I think that he did a good job with what he needed to do today to help the team the best way he could. AFAF said Lingard 7. GT and SR said Rashford fire. Yeah, no, obs. Vandy Candy said Lingard 7. He played a role in that goal. He did. He really did. Nick Archer said Jay Ling's a 9 because he was playing a false 9. I like it. Pancast said Lingard 7.5. Jay Hart gave Lingard a 7. First half, he was all over the pitch, but second half, he became invisible. Yeah, I mean, but for the most part, that was everybody. I did notice that today. Was yellow. So Vandy Candy said Pogba was a yellow card. It was better to sub him off. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then George Kyle said Lingard a 6. Good runner, but little end product. But let's be real. Dele Alli is just a B-Tech Jesse Lingard. He's a Jesse Lingard with a bigger name, apparently, because he didn't really do anything today. Got shut down today, Dele. Called you out. What's up? What's up? You can't stop this. You already know. You already know.
Dropped the diss track on him.
Oh, dude, wait, Matthew, if you didn't drop the diss track already, I don't know what you're doing.
We speak.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
Coming to that's all I'm saying.
So, Matthew, Martial, honestly, he did well when he was driving at the opponents today. Did chip in defensively, but I did notice the reason why he got subbed off. What would you give Anthony Martial today?
Martial's been a weird one as of recent. Like, he's not really contributed directly that much. And that's something that we always love seeing from him. being able to get a goal out of nowhere, and we've not really seen that in recent weeks or in the last week or two. I think in this game, though, he did fairly well at times, but was quite quiet in the process.
Yeah.
A 6 at most, to be honest. I think a 7. I'd give him a 7 as maybe he put in some good crosses, but the strikers just weren't finishing, or he was taking shots, but the keeper was making good saves. But overall, it was a quiet game, but it wasn't a poor one.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. It's like he was just kind of quiet. Like I noticed that he, once again, another player that just did what needed to be done today. Didn't really put in any crosses, like Matthew said, but at the same time, like he did chip in his defensive responsibilities. And again, like I said, I realized the reason why he needed to get subbed out when he did. And Lukaku did come on in an appropriate time. And to be fair to Lukaku, he did come on, and there was one point where it looked like that his driving run almost was going to lead to a goal for us, but he just kind of got caught up in the end. Which really isn't surprising. I'm not to be trying overly mean to Lukaku, but like it's just the truth. So let's see here. Martial 5, he can do better from Vandy. Pankez Martial was a bit quiet, 6.5 for me. George Kyle said Martial 7, still dangerous, and should have had an assist for Pogba with his pullback. Yes, that is true, George. That is very true. Nick Archer, Martial 7 for pushing Trippier, showing some fight. Yes, I did like that as well. I
love that moment.
Yeah, that's one of those moments that you love to see from a player that is a more skilled player like that.
Especially big games, because sometimes you just don't see that, and Martial is the last person who you'd expect that from.
Yeah,
someone just him just absolutely yeeting him. It was so good.
Good to see. Jay Hart said Martial 7. He gets a better rating for that shove he gave to Trippier. Yeah, another person mentioning that. I love it. AFAF said Martial 6. Gary Johnston said Martial subtly keeps attacking moves going. Wasn't great, but did fairly well. 7. Lukaku lost that one-on-one as usually he is crap. I called it BTW with Old Man Sissoko. That's true. That is true. Are we at 20 likes yet? I want to see the Pogba dance. No, we are not. We are 7 away, George. We are 7 away. So you don't get the Pogba dance unless it's at 20, though. You'll get the dab at 15, but you're not going to get the Pogba dance until 20. So last but not least, Matthew, let's go to Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, the goal, Marcus Rashford's the player really that, in my opinion, has improved the most under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and his finishing is on another level under Ole. He's actually thinking with his finishing instead of just blasting it. Yeah, what do you give him today, Matthew?
He's got some brain cells now. The boy's actually gotten quite smart. That finish especially was brilliant. I didn't expect him to score from that angle when you consider Lloris's positioning, but yeah, overall, he could. I don't think it was, again, an amazing game, but it was a solid one nonetheless. And ultimately, he scored the winning goal, so can't really knock him too much for that. I don't know if an 8 is too much.
No, it's not.
That question, was he better than Pogba? Which, to be fair, I'd say Pogba was better because he was maybe arguably more involved, but I don't like giving half ratings, but I'd say 7.5.
So I'm personally going to give Rashford an 8 today. He really does press well, and he does suit being the striker for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this system. He presses well. He's very, very fast, and you can see how fast he is when he gets going in this system. And just lastly, he does contribute now under Ole with goals and assists very, very regularly. And it's awesome to see. So Marcus Rashford gets an 8 from me. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see people give him a little bit more than an 8, just for like we talked about earlier. Like, he really looks like he's thinking when he's finishing now, which is really awesome to see. And guys, you will get the dab. We'll get the dab at the end of the stream so we can read out these ratings really quick. Let's see here. So Nick, we didn't hit 15 likes live. We have to hit it live. If you don't hit 20 live, you're not going to get the Pogba dance. You're just going to get the dab at this point. George Kyle said Rashford a 9. Superb finish. Yes, completely agree, George. Gary Johnson said like now or I'll find you. Fair. Pankaj, Rashford 9.5. I love it. Jay Hart said Rashford gets an 8. He's shown improvement in his final ball, which that's very, very true. Nick Archer said Rashford 8 is right on the spot. Vandy Candy said Rashford 8.5, ran all game, which that is very true. Nick Archer also did say Rashford equals Mbappe now, which that will be interesting to see if this form continues, because he could be on that same level if he continues on this form. George Kyle said, got to say an honorable mention to De Gea as well for some quality time wasting on those goal kicks. Yes. I love the Spurs crowd just booing him for that. It was hilarious. Rashford struggled in the second half, but I'll give him a 9. It says AFAF. But guys, we're going to wrap it up right there because I actually need to get back to doing something for work. So I'll go ahead and I'll hit the double dab for you. Bam, bam. We hit that double dab. You know what? One over there and one back over there. Oh, all the dabs. Guys, the team was on fire today. On absolute fire in that first half. Yeah, guess what? Second half maybe wasn't great. Maybe it wasn't great. But ultimately, the team kept a clean sheet against Tottenham, a team that is a very quality side. Do not get that twisted. Tottenham is a quality side, and we kept them at bay today. Yeah, David De Gea had to pull out a masterclass of a performance to keep a clean sheet. He really did. But at the end of the day, we kept a clean sheet, something that I think we only did once during this year under Mourinho, and now we've done it twice under Ollie. Phenomenal stuff. Get on board with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I'm willing to bet you if he continues on this trend, we're going to be looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the next manager of Manchester United. And that's something I think everybody can get behind, and I think everybody will be stoked up to do. So, Matthew, you know I love you, brother. Go ahead, shout out everything. You know it's in the description, but shout out everything.
Yeah, sure. So, as I said in the last stream, I'm making more posters, completely different style ones. You know what? I'm actually going to put this in the comments. I'm going to put the tweets at. I'm that sad that I've saved the tweet. There you go. If you haven't seen it already, it's a new sort of series of posters that I'm doing based around the World Cup.
Yes.
But I'm all based on other moments too. And one of those will probably be today. David A in particular, as well as Ole 99, all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, just have a look at that. Have a look at offsidegraphics.com. As I said, all the sort of more branding new posters is coming, so that's pretty exciting at the moment. And I've got a coursework deadline in 3 hours, so I better get working.
Yeah, no, you've got to get to work as well. So, guys, just genuinely thank you for joining us. I mean, we really are building a great community here. I love seeing the community that's being built. Matthew, BT Dub, can't wait to get the poster and see how it looks. You know, if you're making one of those Ollie ones, I think it would fit pretty well with something that's maybe right in this area over here, right over here. So, you know, guys, just genuinely, we've got such an awesome community here. Get liking, get sharing, because I really think that we are building something special here. And genuinely, Manchester United is playing on such a fantastic level under Ollie. We're seeing something brand new. We're seeing something from Manchester United that we haven't seen since Sir Alex left. And I'm loving seeing it. So, guys, genuinely thank you for joining us today. You know I love you guys. I love you all. Everybody in the live comments. You make my days better. You genuinely make my days better. But I really do hope that you guys all have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Keep doing you guys, because I love you. Manchester United loves you. And you guys are awesome. Let's go, Manchester United.